Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals Podcast, episode 59. Tonight, we are talking the new Animal Crossing Direct, more impressions on the Switch OLED, Metroid Dread, and we will be ranking the best Nintendo duos. All that and more. Greetings, friends, and welcome to another episode of Nintendo Pals. I am Andros, and I am joined by my regular co-host, Micah.
Yep.
And we are also joined tonight by super special guests from the Nintendo Cartridge Society. First off, we got Patrick.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. And we've got Mark.
Hello, so happy to be here.
Yes, thank you guys both for coming on. This is super exciting. I'm a huge fan of y'all's show, so it's always fun to podcast with podcasts I listen to. Podcasters I listen to? I don't know the tense I should be using there, but yeah.
Either statement is true, right?
Yeah. It's a blast. The Nintendo Cartridge Society is an awesome show. Y'all should definitely check it out. We'll have links to it in the description, and we'll also give them a chance to plug their stuff towards the end. But first off, I guess before we get started into anything, how is everybody doing? Micah, how's your day?
Been pretty good.
Pretty good.
Although I did have to wake up super early to watch that Animal Crossing Direct.
Yes, it was. They don't take it easy on the Pacific Coast there for these directs. It seems like a lot of times they're really early in the morning.
Yeah, they like to be around 7 my time, which is, I'm not a morning person. A little early for me.
Technically, it wasn't morning for you because you went back to bed. So it was like middle of the night is really what it was.
Practically.
How are things going for you, Mark? How's life?
Oh, things are good. Yeah, things are going well. Today was actually the last day at my current job, or I guess former job at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, so
is that a good thing?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I came in this morning, got fired in the afternoon. So no,
Let's celebrate.
I think it's a positive thing, but there was a lot going on. Yeah, got the Animal Crossing Direct, got the last day of my job, so doing good.
Nice. So you're moving on to bigger and better things career-wise, or
yeah, that's always the hope, right?
Yeah. Micah is in a similar boat right now. He's been on the job hunt for a while. So if anybody knows of anything that you need someone with just Micah energy, I don't even know what that means. What is Micah energy and how do we harness it? That's the whole premise of this show.
I know I put my Micah energy as a bullet point on my resume, so you know.
Yeah.
Under special skills.
Has it helped?
Yeah, that's right.
Lots of recruiters commenting about that.
Yeah, everyone asks. I don't have a good answer.
Yeah.
On your acting resume, it's like special skills, horseback riding, fencing, Micah energy.
Right. Yes.
That's right. I think I'm auditioning for something.
They're like, wow, whatever this Micah energy is, we need some of that. And how are things going in your life/day, Patrick?
My life/day is going all right. I had a very busy day at work. I was just naturally up at the time that the Animal Crossing thing started, and I was like, oh yeah, that Animal Crossing thing. I am, unlike Micah, I am a morning person, so maybe I don't actually have Micah energy. But I'm happy to be here.
Energy.
Yeah, that's right. Anti-Micah energy.
Yeah, scientific term for a morning person. Anti-Micah.
It's very good to be with you all to talk about it all now.
Yes, I am absolutely pumped. So I guess let's just hop right into the first segment of our show and let's talk what you playing. Micah, you want to kick things off this week? What have you been playing lately?
almost exclusively Metroid Dread.
Nice. Not a bad choice. It's a great choice, actually.
man.
Oh yeah, So yeah, I've really been enjoying that. I actually late last night beat it for the third time.
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah, this time I was seeing how fast I could go. Not with any like real speed running strategies, but just seeing how quick I could go. And I did it in like 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Wow, that's awesome.
I think the record's like an hour and a half or something. I don't understand how that's even remotely possible.
Do you feel like you're at a point where you are comfortable enough with the game where you know where to take shortcuts and how to like, I don't know, are you like sequence breaking
I
or not so
haven't
much at this point?
Not so much at this point. I think my next run I might try and just see what I can sequence break. I know about one, which I think a lot of people know about. They've paid attention to the news involving getting the bombs early.
Oh yes, yeah,
Great
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm curious what other, because I mean the developers essentially planned for that. I wonder if there are any other kind of planned secrets.
Yeah, that's true. There could be like even more sequence break, like especially they did plan for it, obviously, with the Kraid boss battle. Hopefully, we're not in like spoiler. I don't know if we're in
Yeah, I was
spoiler
gonna say,
safe territory
I feel like most
yet.
people know about that, but I wasn't quite sure if I should say Kraid.
We also haven't said what is part of the sequence break, what happens, how gross it
Yeah.
is, but
It is pretty gross.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first fought Kraid, I was like, that looks like a good spot if I had these items, and then it like turns out you can do that.
That's why for me, Metroid Dread has been a little bit of that same energy that like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild had, where like people are discovering things and it's like, oh, cool, I didn't know you could do that. Like the thing with Kraid was totally one of those moments where I was like, that is awesome that they thought of that. And I can't wait to see what other, like you guys were saying, like what other sequence breaks come out of this, because I'm assuming there have to be more than just that one. And so to see what those are, I'm really excited for.
yeah, I'm also like really blown away by the way the game makes you feel like you are capable of doing that kind of sequence breaking stuff. With the shine spark like running sequences where you have to figure out like how to keep your speed boost going. Because when I accomplish one of those, I feel like a god, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
I've mastered the speed force and I'm going backwards and forwards through time.
I kind of
All
feel
of the hardest items involve
Yeah,
the speed spark.
totally. I kind of feel that way about the Emmy levels. You know, like because each of the terrain, I feel like you have to kind of figure out like how you can take the Emmy down, like where there's enough like runway for the Emmy to be approaching and use like the cannon on them. Again, I don't know like how much we're like. Is that a spoiler? If it is, I apologize. But yeah, I just feel like there's so much of the game that is created like thoughtfully like that's really exciting to me. Not I did not get that impression, maybe because it was like a remake so much from Samus Returns, but Dread is really giving me like heavy like discovery vibes.
Yeah, yeah. I did not play Samus Returns. In fact, I'm very much not a Metroid guy, I'd say. I played Fusion prior to this. That's about it, and I did not beat it because as Micah can attest, I get stuck in Metroid. I had to call Micah for help twice. I got stuck in rooms. Once at the very beginning, I didn't know you had to shoot the little explodey block, so I was just trapped in that little like it's the very beginning, like trapped in this little room. I was stuck in there live on stream first off, and I was like stuck in there for like a good 5 minutes. I ended up reloading the game, and I was just like, I'll just call up Micah, get some help, and then I got stuck again in a room where you had to like lay a bomb in order to get out. And I swear I bombed the whole floor. It didn't work.
Sometimes you do just need that, like, especially early on, there's just like one little aspect of the game that you don't have like your head wrapped around just yet. And so like a task feels impossible or like a game feels bad. I remember texting with my buddy Pete right when he started God of War 2018, and like he couldn't wrap his head around like the way the combat was working or something, and he was so like mad about it that he was just like, I keep dying in this first big fight, and then like like talked him through it and like we figured it out, and now it's like his favorite game. So like that's a real thing where it's just like one hurdle to overcome.
Yeah.
I feel like especially in Metroid, where some of that stuff is like hidden, and you have so many options, like
Yeah.
and so you kind of just need like a little hint sometimes, where it's just like, oh, have you tried like using this? And then you're like, oh, of course. Now every room I'm going to check to see if I can use that, but I just wasn't thinking about it because like I was trying to juggle the other like 20 abilities I have in my mind.
I feel like
Yeah,
there's
I was always running.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna. I feel like I was always running on missiles because I would just be like, that wall looks like maybe it's a little suspicious, and just like firing
Light up the
missiles
hole.
everywhere
Yeah.
to see if see if anything was hidden.
Yeah, I feel like there's perfect opportunity in game to do that, but it doesn't quite do that like hint to the point where I have had to like get help on a couple occasions. But after that, I won't get stuck on that particular thing again.
Right.
Like they could have used Adam, the computer. Like if you ever get to a point where you're like super stuck, you could go back to a room with Adam and maybe it would give you a hint as to the next thing to progress to. Like that would have been a cool additional feature. But I also don't feel like the game is overly difficult. There's a lot of discourse on that right now online. Like people that are on both sides of the fence of this game is like crazy too hard, or well, there's not anybody saying it's too easy. I think there's people saying it's just right and people saying it's way too hard.
That's so interesting to me, only because I feel like I am more like you, where generally in video games in general, I get so frustrated when I don't know where I'm supposed to go. And so Metroid and like Metroidvanias have always kind of been like sometimes challenging for me because I hate the sense of being lost in a game.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not felt that way in Metroid Dread. I've actually like I usually play games on easy because I just want to play games to enjoy them. And I have, for myself, have been surprised at how like enjoyable I have found Metroid Dread. Like, because I die all the time. Like I haven't beat it yet. I'm on the final, what I think is I assume is the final boss right now, and I have died so many times to this boss. I cannot even tell you. But for whatever reason, I have not found it to be like a frustrating experience like I do with some games. And so, yeah, it's interesting that the discourse, for me, from my perspective, because normally I'm on the side of like, this game is way too hard. But in this case, I am finding it to be like the perfect difficulty for my experience.
I say the same thing. As a complete newcomer, I like not complete, but as a mostly a newcomer to Metroid as a series, I didn't play anything prior to Fusion. I got, like I said earlier, I got stuck in Fusion and never beat it. This game has pulled me in. It's like the perfect difficulty for me. I feel like it's a good combo of linear and exploratory gameplay.
100%, yeah.
Like there's definitely a linear path to follow, but there's also tons to explore. It just strikes everything at like the perfect note for me. Yeah, that's me anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wonder if any people are like objecting to the difficulty like on the basis of like the Emmy encounters. Because like I don't think there's been an Emmy encounter that I haven't died in at least once, right? Probably multiple times. And I just don't think of that as like failing at it at all, right? Like it's just like, oh, okay, I just have to try something else now. And the game is quick enough at like reloading you right outside that Emmy room that like it doesn't seem like much of a punishment.
It's nice that they have a checkpoint.
Yeah, that's like such good design. Like I don't think that was the case in older Metroid games. I don't remember that being the case in Fusion. If you died, you went back to where you last saved instead of right outside the room you died in, which is just so great because you're just right back in the action.
Right, and I think for Dread, that's it really only kicks you to like those checkpoints either right outside an Emmy room that you just entered or right before a boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you die anywhere else, then it does kick you back to your last save point or the last time you like came into the area like via one of those train things or
Yep.
a teleporter or elevator. So it still has some of that like Metroid consequences, but it's very forgiving.
Yeah, yeah. I for me, like I've tried because they have the original Metroid and Super Metroid on Nintendo Switch Online, and I've tried those, and they didn't pull me in. This has pulled me in, and I'm like so a Metroid fan now. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for Metroid Prime 4. I can't wait for the next thing because this is so good. I'm just enjoying my time with it so much.
The original Metroid, I am 100% with you. I think it's unplayable. Like
Yeah.
going in just like fresh, like nowadays, like I cannot even imagine. I don't think it's an enjoyable experience. I wouldn't recommend anybody try it.
Zero Mission is right there. Play Zero
Yeah,
Mission
yeah.
instead. It's the same story, but it's a much better game.
Yeah, I do think Zero Mission and Fusion graphically hold up. Like those still look really good. So, Micah, you beat the game as fast as possible. How long did it take you?
3 hours and 10 minutes for me. As fast as possible for me to beat.
That's crazy.
Now I have to do it on the hard mode so I can unlock all the fancy ending reward pictures.
Get those pictures.
Exactly.
Out of curiosity, how long did it take you your first time, do you think?
7 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh, so that's, I mean, to me, that is impressive as well. I think when I finish, God willing, if I can actually beat this boss, it'll probably be somewhere in like the 11-hour range.
Well, it's also kind of interesting because I think that time, I don't think they count like the times when you die. It just counts like your successful parts.
Oh,
So if you like die
got
multiple
it.
times against a boss, it doesn't count all those failures towards that time.
Oh, I didn't know that. I guess that would make sense because I was like,
That's what I've
this.
heard at least.
It feels like I've been playing this longer than 4 hours. Like, not in a bad way, but it's like this. I've only been playing for 4 hours. I feel like I played this for just 4 hours yesterday. I did die to that boss.
I think
like
it also
20 times.
doesn't. I think it also doesn't count when you're like looking at the map and things. Another thing I've heard. Don't necessarily quote me on that.
This will have to
Wait,
we'll have to do some further research on this and come back on if that's true.
where can I see my current time in game?
You can see it when you load up the game. So if you've just been putting your Switch to sleep, you probably haven't seen it. But when you save and then go back in, it'll show you how much time you have, including and also like what your item percentage is at that point.
Yeah, and then once you finish, it tells you.
And since it's your first playthrough, what we could do to like check that, not right now because the Switch is still going to be saying like you've played this game 3 days ago, right? Like, but once that's done, you could check the app playtime versus the in-game playtime and see if there is.
So you can find out that you've played for about 10 hours.
Yeah, and see if it's the same. Then we know that it counted all the map looking, but if it's not, then it didn't count those. But it would actually be very cool if it didn't, because to me, it would feel like an accomplishment to get there with a smaller number. Be like, wow, I'm so good at Metroid. I beat the game in 7.5 hours, even though it actually was like 14. I died to the boss 7 hours of time.
Yeah, it's not taking like your time. It's taking Samus time because I mean, Samus isn't dying in any of these things.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't think about it that. Yeah, it's SST, standard Samus time.
There you go.
The best time zone.
But maybe there are an infinite number of realities wherein Samus does die, and we have to address it the same way that we address the Zelda timeline, in that there is an inevitability that there's one timeline wherein the hero fails.
Yeah, that launches to the Prime timeline, and then there's the
Metroid does not
the other M timeline
Zelda.
that they like cut off. They're like, no more of that timeline. Then there's like that weird branch for Federation Force, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, nice. Anything else you want to highlight you've been playing, Micah?
I guess I started playing a little more Pokemon Unite again. They have like a few new Pokemon that I hadn't played with. I think Mamoswine and Sylveon were newly added since the last time I played. So kind of fun. with the new Pokemon, but also kind of terrible because I don't know their move sets, and people usually wreck me when they play them.
Yeah, it's always difficult when you come into a game like Pokemon Unite and you have to learn the characters' movesets, not only to play as them but to play against them. Uh, they get and when they add a new one, it like changes the whole meta, right? In any fighting
Yeah.
game. So that's just the way it is,
Yeah.
I guess.
At least it's not as
The
bad as League, where they have like 700 characters,
Yeah.
champions.
thing that really trips me up about games like that is that then you've got to like learn the characters fastest to like not let down your team. Um, like, I'm a big fighting game guy, and when I'm bad at it, I'm just bad for me. I'm not letting anyone else down.
Yeah, but in
Yeah.
these games, you have like a full squad, and if you're like, I just want to try out this new character, that's gonna wreck the competitive nature of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, I guess who'd like to go next? Mark, Patrick, you guys want to flip a coin? Who wants to talk about what game they're playing?
Well, I'll talk a little bit about what else I've been playing. Um, I downloaded but have not gotten the chance to dig into Tetris Effect Connected on the Switch. I'm a big fan of Tetris Effect on PlayStation and on PlayStation VR. So I'm very much looking forward to having that game melt my brain again. Um, the last time I sunk any real time into it, like it made me cry. I love it. I love it to death. Metroid or Tetris Effect is beautiful. But I've also been spending some serious time with the Game and Watch Gallery #2 for the Game Boy Color. Mark and I are in the midst of Game and Watch month, so we are playing as many Game and Watch games as we can. Um, I took my 3DS to a bar last night so Sarah and I could watch the game 5 between the Giants and the Dodgers. And she watched the game and I played Parachute all night long. So I've been playing Parachute.
I was like, please tell me you were playing Fire. That was what was it?
No.
What was it called? Fireman and Fireman. Or
Yeah, so the official name of the game is Fire, but the name in the US for a little while was Fireman, which
Yeah,
I think is amazing.
that's a better name, yeah, for sure.
Parachute is not unlike Fireman, as far as I'm concerned. It's a little bit more stressful, and there are sharks. But I find that I'm better at Parachute than I am at Fireman. I don't want to burn too much of a Game and Watch talk, as Mark and I have a long conversation about Game and Watch games to get through next week. But since we started doing this, I've just been like obsessed with Game and Watch games. A bunch of them I think are way more fun than they have any business being.
It was an absolute blast. I listened to y'all's last episode where you guys were determining what the game was based off the name.
Yeah,
And
yes, yeah.
I just had no idea how many Game and Watch games are out there,
There's so many.
and how weird they get. Yeah.
They get crazy.
Also, so they had like a Mickey Mouse one. They already partnered with Disney. Why can't we get Mickey Mouse in Smash Bros? Put it in the Game and Watch.
Yeah, because now Miyamoto sees them as direct competitors. Miyamoto was coming from Mickey's Crown, so
Yeah, they
true.
heard that Disney was going to have Chris Pratt voice Mickey Mouse, and they were like, "No, sir, we're going to snipe that out from under you."
Oh
Yeah,
man.
there are two. There's a Mickey game and there's a Mickey and Donald, and then there are two Snoopy games and a Popeye game. So there are those like 5 big licensed games, and I want to play them all, but I can't.
Yeah, because those are the ones that probably cost an arm and a leg.
And never get collected in anything. So
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Game and Watch is the extent of my Game and Watch knowledge is Smash Bros. Mr. Game and Watch, which it's crazy listening to your episode, and I'm sure you guys are going to get into this in your coming episode. So, listeners, check out Nintendo Cartridge Society. How much they did for the Game and Watch character in Smash Bros. That is just direct calls to games.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, because you're naming like all these games, and I'm like, oh, the oil spill bucket. He has that oil spill bucket. He's got the parachute. He even had the like tomahawk for that one game that was not
does, yeah.
very culturally.
Yep.
Yep, fire attack, yeah.
Yeah, so like they really put a lot of love into that character in Smash Bros. Sakurai is a madman with how much he does to the callbacks.
I wonder if you could go through all the characters, and no one should actually do this, it'd be a huge waste of time. But if you could go through all the characters and determine how many different games their moveset references, I wonder if Game & Watch would be number one. Because, like, every single move of his references a different Game & Watch game.
That's true.
Could be. It could be that there are more Game & Watch references than of any other series.
I can't think of another character where that might not be the case, right? Like, besides Mario has a couple from several different games, like Flood and the Cape from Super, but
I guess it depends on how.
Move.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you count like Pikachu's move set. Like, I'll do all of his moves refer to every game that he's in. You know?
Yeah, kind of, I guess, but none of them are like unique to certain games.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, not like Game & Watch. Game & Watch is Mr. Game & Watch is the most unique character for his movesets per game.
Yeah,
he wins that long award. Most unique character movesets from different games. Mr. Game & Watch.
Put it on his Wikipedia.
Yeah, right up there with Micah Energy on his resume. Mark, what have you been playing lately?
I mean, I feel like we've exhausted our Metroid Dread discourse, and I have also been playing the Game & Watch gallery games. Game & Watch is a huge blind spot in my Nintendo fandom, and so it's been really fun to dig into it. I kind of just really dismissed them as, just like really basic calculator games, but playing them, I have really appreciated like how fun they are to play, because they are basic, but it kind of like the fact that they're basic and the fact that they are so much fun is just a testament to the quality of like that Nintendo has had for so many years. Just it's really, like I wasn't expecting for Fire to really do anything for me, but especially because I'm not really much of an arcade guy. Like high score rushes like generally don't really appeal to me, but that is the core of these Game & Watch games, is just doing better than you did before, and it's really satisfying. So yeah, I've been enjoying Game & Watch way more than I ever expected to.
Yeah, it's a good, like, the direct version of arcade, but in portable form, right? Like that's very much speaks to the time frame it came from, where nowadays our handheld gaming experience being the Switch. All right, probably easier to compare like 3DS and Wii. Like, it's like the handheld market just reflects what's popular at the time on in the gaming space in general. So that's I've never really thought about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like the good stuff about the arcade, but not the annoying stuff, because they don't like ramp up the difficulty super crazy just to get you to feed in more quarters. So like,
you imagine you have to put a quarter into your little Game & Watch.
It's heavier.
It just gets heavier and heavier.
Yeah. And then you're legally required to like mail them to Nintendo.
Yeah.
Once it gets full.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because we have a local arcade that has some of these old machines on here, and I played the Mario Bros arcade, like one of the original arcade machines, and there's just straight a wall. And like, how do you get past this? It's not that wall is not in the regular game, and I'm like, and looking it up, people are like, oh yeah, that's like the arcade version, right? At that point, you have to lose all you have to give up and put in more quarters to try and figure it out for the next time.
Wait, was this Mario Bros or Super Mario Bros?
Super Mario Bros.
Okay, got it.
Not Mario Bros. Yeah, I guess I should have clarified that.
Say if there's a wall, you just go around the outside of the screen and pop out the other side.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I'm kind of in the same boat as Mark. I haven't. We've talked about what I've been playing because I've been playing a lot of Metroid Dread. I guess I'll talk a little bit to my son has gotten very into Just Dance.
Nice.
We have copies of it from the Wii, so he was playing it on the Wii U and loving it to the point that my wife was like, "We gotta get him Just Dance for the Switch." So we got that one because it's got newer music, songs he'll recognize a little bit better. So uh, we've been playing as a family Just Dance 2020, and it's pretty good. It's it's weird how the menu has changed to be very uh mobile gamey. I guess is the like
Oh.
it. I don't really know how to describe it, but there's a lot of like buy the subscription model and different like different windows that lead, and when you finish a song it's like try these songs next, recommended. And it's not as simple of an interface as it was on the Wii days.
Is it always trying to sell you stuff?
No, it's not always trying to
Hmm.
sell you stuff. It's just constantly providing you with too much information. That makes any sense. There is a spot for trying to sell you a subscription, which gives you access to like what looks to be the entire Just Dance catalog up to that point, which is pretty cool. That you can go back and go, oh, I remember this song, like because we've been playing the one from the Wii. My son knows a lot of the songs that are there included with that model, but it comes with like 40 something songs. And yeah, I always said I would never buy that game, but well, that's what happens when you have
I,
kids that get into something. You're like, oh, I guess I'll get it.
I don't think I will ever be able to play that game. I just can't bring myself
Well,
to do that.
I,
Have
Especially, I
fun.
mean, unless maybe no one's watching, then maybe I could. Anyone else is in the room? Heck no.
listen. Micah is also the guy that's like grand champion of Mario Mix DDR, which you can see in chat. There's some comments about that we should bring DDR, Mario DDR
That's
back.
because that game is incredible and not embarrassing at all.
I feel like it's a similar energy, but I mean it is better.
Oh,
It is better.
I love the like I will I'm a big Just Dance franchise guy. So I played it with like friends and family in the Wii era and had not played it since the Wii era. Had a ton of fun playing it on the Wii with a group of people, and then during the pandemic, during lockdown, bought Just Dance 2020 for the Switch and was played through like they had like what I can't remember what they call it, but it's like the like history mode or whatever, and so you get
Yeah,
some of the
yeah. We
songs
did
from
that.
the older one like Rasputin and stuff, and then I think online or somewhere you can get like a free trial for the subscription, and so I tried that because I wanted like some of the older songs that were available there. I totally 100% get what you're saying about it looking embarrassing because it totally does. But with the right group of people, I think those games are a lot of fun.
yeah, I can see that.
Mark, should we do some Just Dance this weekend?
Oh, please do.
I
Should we
think
get
we
some
should. There's
videos?
like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll each have one, and it'll be the nuclear option if we ever need
That's
to
right.
destroy each other's reputation. But no, there are some where like with like four people, you each have a role, and they're like coordinated dances.
Oh.
It's a good time. What can I say? I'm totally into it.
It's a good workout too. If you get into it and don't do the classic
Laying
Wii
on the
bowling,
couch.
where you're like, yeah, lay down doing all the moves. Oh man, yeah. But I do want to say I have played Mario Mix DDR with Micah like once, and that game is fantastic. We need
And I
more
believe
Mario
it
dance
has
games.
Waluigi in it, so you should like it.
Yeah, he's the main villain, right? He ends up being the final
Yeah,
boss.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's been so long I just forgot,
Which
but
is
that
just so fitting. Like,
my-
if you're gonna have a final boss for a dance game with Mario characters, Waluigi has to be it, right? Like that's just the way it's gonna go. Man, I would love to see more of that. That was a cool combination. Like, Mario's done everything, guys. He's been a DDR. He's done cooking games, teaching typing,
just about every sport.
every
He
sport.
worked
Yeah.
in a cement factory.
Yes. Delivered bombs too. That was a weird.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
right.
what? Okay.
Very strange.
Different time. Yeah, so that's basically what we play. I do just want to say, like, go. I know we've like talked Metroid Dread to death, but we didn't really hit on how gorgeous the game is. And I'm playing on the Switch OLED. I've been primarily playing it in handheld, actually, because I have the OLED and I feel like I have to get some use out of this screen.
You have to justify your purchase.
Yeah, like I gotta play it like this. And the colors and the lighting and the 3D backgrounds, it's so cool. I'm like, every new area I walk into, I'm like, this is gorgeous. I just want to step into this world, minus the monsters. But like, it's just,
I don't want to go anywhere near that planet.
it's just so cool. Love the atmosphere. They just nailed it with Metroid Dread, and it's a perfect October game. It's like Halloween vibes for me, for sure.
They have a lot of like nice, like kind of background touches that give you clues to what bosses you're about to face.
Yes,
I think are really cool.
Yes, yeah. You see the first boss, which I think we can talk about a little bit here, but he has the cloaking ability, and you can see him in the background for some of the cave scenes. Like something like I don't know what it is, like a little alien antelope
deer thing.
Yeah, like a little alien deer gets like taken by something invisible, and you just have to be like, "Whoa, what happened back there?" You know.
And you see that same creature's corpse later in the game too. It's getting like shocked by electrodes in some laboratory.
Is that the same? Oh,
I think so. I think it's that thing.
Yeah, it looks like a bigger one, but like the same thing.
That's yeah. That's wild. And the lore. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get into that because that's spoilery. But I was just like, oh, what? I was so surprised when I hit about the third boss. There's like a really cool cuts. Okay, all the cutscenes are so cool and seamless. You just move from really cinematic and beautiful cutscene of Samus doing something really cool, and then back to game, and there's no loading. It's just all like it does not pull you away from the game in any way, and Samus is just so cool. Like, I see why people are such a big fan of Metroid and of Samus as a character. She does after every boss fight, she does the cool, like, don't look at the explosion kind of moment. You know what I mean? Like, stands there, the boss, and then she's just like, boom. No big deal. I just got that guy. And it's like, it's so cool. So cool.
Yeah, she's rad.
Yeah. Very cool character. Well, since we have talked this all to death, let's move over to the next segment of our show where we have a lot to talk about with the Nintendo news. And today, this morning, as of the day of recording, our episodes go live on Mondays, so we record on the Friday prior. This morning was a Animal Crossing New Horizon Direct. And wow, guys, I want to give like general impressions here. It gave 99% of what people were asking for. Like, I think there's like minor little things here and there that people like that might even be in there, but like everything. Yeah, multi bulk crafting is the one that we both were like, hopefully that's in there somehow, snuck in there. But beside that, like, everything I could have even imagined could go into the game is going into the game, and more. It is wild.
This update was like huge.
Yes. Mark, Patrick, were either of you guys big into Animal Crossing Still playing? What's your status with the series?
We were both pretty big into it right when it came out, and then Mark, you sort of tapered off after like a month or two, right? And you kept saying you were going to come back to your island, but you never did.
Never did. In fact, I nuked my island. I
That's
deleted
right.
it entirely. And so I have no island currently. I would need to start from scratch, which I'm kind of tempted to
Do
do.
it.
Um, I'm just trying to imagine like how I'm going to play all of these games, but I was super impressed with the update. Like I'm kind of surprised that they didn't give it a name like they did with like the new Leaf Welcome Amiibo update, because to me it feels like it's that big. Like it may even add like more content than that did.
Well, you mean with just the 2.0, like the free stuff?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, with the free
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because they
free
did give
stuff,
it a name to the second half.
yeah. But the free stuff is super substantial. Like, there's so much extra stuff going on, and just like the added functionality of Harv's Island, and being able to summon specific like animal vendors to that island is gonna be huge. To this point, I was unclear on how anyone is supposed to complete the art wing of the museum, because you have to
Yes.
wait. You have to
Like
wait for
4.
Red to show up. I hate him so much. You have to wait for Red to show up. There were months where Sarah and I would check in every day just to see if Red was there. And then he wasn't, we would turn the game off. And then if he's there, you have to go and see if he's got art that is A, real, and B, not art that you've already purchased. Somehow he can have two different copies of something real, which defies logic, but what are you going to do? So like we would like really for a long, like months and months, probably like 3 or 4 months of going in and like just playing the game to get art pieces. And it was such slow going. Like every 3 or 4 weeks we would get one new piece of art. We're like, we're never going to finish this. But if you can just make him appear on Harv's Island every day, come on, it's a game changer. I'm going to complete the art wing of the museum. I'm so happy.
Yeah, and it gave purpose to Harv's Island, which I honestly didn't go back to after the like.
I've been there once.
I've been there twice. I went there to take pictures for Reese and Cyrus's anniversary. That one update, and that after that, I was like, okay, well, see ya, Harv. This island's kind of boring. It's gonna be like a hub. It's a city of trailers. I think that's pretty hilarious. It's very like very hippie, very like what are they called? Gatherings. Have you guys heard of those? Where it's like very like a come together of different talents, and they all share their talents with each other. It feels very much like
the gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah, it's like we have a friend that's super into it. Micah Morgan's like really into going to these like art camps. It's like scout camp, but for artists. Like that's what it's like, and this is what that gives me those kind of vibes. Like everybody there is like skill trading, and you go and it's a city of different places and booths. It does look like you have to buy those by donating to
bribe them to come.
Yeah.
And then pay them for their stuff, I assume.
Yeah, but I mean, we've all been banking bells this whole time, except for Mark, who of course nuked his island. But, the rest of us have been making minimal interest for months. So
yeah, I made off like a bandit with the turnip market. So money is no object for my character. Just throwing the bells,
Yeah, making it rain.
Making it
jingle.
Making it jingle. That needs to be a shirt right there. Yeah, so that was super cool. I was really pumped for that. I want to give like a little. We have a list here. I'll rapid fire through this like overview of things that we got in the update. First showed the Roost, which you can do a little coffee hangout with your friends and villagers. Then you got Captain, who does boat tours and serenades you on the way to mysterious islands that can change.
Captain's song.
It's so great. God.
The best.
Move aside, KK Slider.
Yeah, move aside, KK Slider. Captain coming in with the serenade. Harv's Island, which we've already talked about. But I was super excited because Tortimer is alive. Everybody thought he was dead, and there he is. Oh, I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad that they brought all these characters back that have. Everybody was begging for Brewster and the Roost, begging. I don't think anybody was expecting all these NPCs beyond that. Like all of these characters.
Everyone's back. This is Animal Crossing Ultimate, right? Because everyone is here.
Everyone
with the
is
exception,
here.
With the exception of Mr. Rossetti. Where is Mr. Rossetti?
I really hope that in whatever the next iteration of the game is, they find a function for Mr. Rossetti, that he's still Mr. Rossetti, but he's like an usher at a movie theater or something now, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Does he have an amiibo card? Can he be summoned to the coffee shop? That would be rad.
He has an amiibo. I have it. I have the Mr. Rossetti amiibo.
So maybe.
I wonder, maybe, or maybe I can make an island vacation home for him.
Oh, that would be very cool. Yes.
I would love that.
So then we have more items for storage, city ordinances. I'm like going out of order on my list here. Group stretching, which I personally was very excited for. I actually loved that.
I am so excited for group stretching. That alone is enough for me to want to re-download or like create a new island, because I loved in the little video how each of the villagers have their own like way of doing the exercises, and some are super into it, some are not into it. It like reflects their personalities. And also city ordinances. What a great thing for people like, you know, that are you know, living life on a. You can make it work on your own schedule instead of having to, you know, like, because there would be times where I wasn't able to play during the day, and then I'd be like, oh darn, like everything's closed that I needed to do, so I'll just have to like, you know, it just makes it more difficult to keep up that rhythm of checking in on the game all the time if the only time you can check in is at night or early in the morning and nobody's up and about and doing stuff. So I'm really excited about city ordinances too.
Yeah, I wonder if it will change the shop times as well. That would be an absolute.
That'd be huge.
That would be an absolute like lifesaver for a lot of people that maybe aren't on a regular circadian rhythm schedule, you know?
Yeah.
There were some ordinances in there that I have no idea what they will do.
I know, that's so fun.
Like beautiful something
ordinance, and
I wonder if just like villagers randomly pick weeds or something.
Oh my gosh, that would be so great. Just
only thing I can think of.
Executing like executive orders to clean up your island for you. Like this is the kind of power we need.
I wonder if that beauty ordinance makes them like dress up a little bit, like if they have to wear more fancy clothes or something. Because some of my villagers, I know they're wearing stuff just to troll me. I know they're wearing some of their uglier clothes just to make me mad.
Yeah, and then you can gift them like other clothing, and they'll wear that.
But they have favorites though.
They switch back. Yeah, I know. I was gonna say, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get everybody the same shirt. We'll all match. It'll be like this island theme, and then they just go back to the like really ugly like brown paper bag. For
it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you give her. Apple's gonna put on those full body tights again, and you're gonna be like, "What is going on, Apple? This is ridiculous."
Oh, yes. And then keep moving down the list here. New Nook Mile rewards to spend tickets on, which is great. I have so many tickets. Don't know what else I'd be spending them on. And cooking recipes, along with farming. This was like, that by itself could be its own update. It's own standalone update. And it's just like, hey, here you go. Here's cooking, and it's crafting recipes similar to the DIY crafting. Oh, man,
they like. Oh, sorry, so you finished what you're saying?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to that. It looks really fun.
Yeah, and it's like they teased Brewster, and then it ended up being like 15% of the update. Like it
Not
was
even.
almost
I think they
nothing.
spent like a minute on like, hey, this is what you get to do in the coffee shop. All right. Uh, and I want to get to this. I'll get back to this point here. Ceiling furniture, accent walls, more bridges and stairs, permanent ladders.
Woohoo!
Yes,
a lot
and
of
new
quality of life stuff.
fences. Yes. Oh, and then along with that quality of life stuff, the outdoor shed, which lets you access your storage from outside, and a portable ATM. Like, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
yeah. Especially the ATM. Another thing where it's like, hey, if you are trying to do stuff when the shop isn't open, like having, like or the mayor's office is closed, like having access to an ATM and stuff. Like, yeah, I'm really happy with a lot of just like the small tweaks they've made.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll have some like tax required. to
Yeah,
use
that's
ATM,
true.
But I mean,
That's true.
from the turnip market, I have so much money, anyways. I don't care. So many bells.
That would be pretty funny. It's like, yeah, to use this ATM will cost 15% since you do not bank
90%.
with us here at
Oh,
Nook Bank.
jeez.
Tom Nook making the bells.
Competing bank?
Yes. And they also announced gyroids. Am I pronouncing that right? Gyroids? Gyroids.
Thyroids.
Which are different than they have been in previous games. They were like Lloyd, who takes the bells for bridges and for buildings and stuff, is what gyroids were in previous iterations of the game. And this they're like little vases almost, like little decorative things to put in your house. I love them. They are so cool looking, and you get to customize them to be whatever you want, color wise, so they match your house and they sync with the music that's playing. I'm like, oh yeah. Sign me up for that.
It also seems like there's another like hidden system involved in like how because you like dig up gyroid fragments and then you bury them and water them and then they become like different kinds of gyroids. So like one of the things that made me sort of like hit a wall with Animal Crossing was I ran out of like systems to participate in or like things to max out, and the fact that they are introducing more systems like that now 2 years after the game is came out, like it has me super excited to go back.
Gives you more things to collect.
Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gyroids. I wonder if there will be like a Critterpedia type thing for those.
Oh, for the gyroids, probably, yeah.
I just want like an entire room just 100% filled with gyroids, all making music.
Yeah.
It'd probably sound terrible, but it'll be awesome.
No, I was thinking the same thing because I want it to be like a tropical themed room, so it's like the enchanted tiki room in my house.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yes. I would. Oh, and we have ceiling furniture, so little hanging birds.
Yeah,
that would
that's
be
my
very
hope.
cool.
That's my hope.
Well, I don't think. I was gonna say along those same lines. Like my family is super into Disneyland, Disney World, so we got my dad last year for Christmas like an actual tiki room sign, like authentic looking, custom made from the park. And this year we are planning on getting him stuff to go with that. I don't want to say in case he listens and it's a spoil Christmas present, but he does. I don't think he listens to the show, but we like, yeah, I love that idea for a theme. That'll be a really fun way to decorate a house. Which, speaking of decorating your house, you can do play dates with villagers that you go to their house and they'll come to your house. And then they showed one coming. He's like, yo, hope you don't mind that I came over. I just thought, I'm like, oh, I'm so ready for random characters to just barge in. Like, hey, I'm here. And
this is huge. I hope you can invite characters. It's one of the joys of Animal Crossing for me was like falling in love with my neighbors. And this is definitely something that I've wanted to do forever, is invite them over, which I know what it sounds like, but they're my friends and I want them to come over to my house.
It's okay. We had our buddy Dan from at the time he was doing a podcast for Animal Crossing called Dad Crossing, and he was like so into the idea of marriage in this game. Like, I want to marry my villagers. And I was like, absolutely not. This should not be a feature in an Animal Crossing game.
No, because most of them are children, right?
And animals, and you're a person. It's a little weird.
Whatever.
I wouldn't mind if there was like a matchmaking feature where I could play matchmaker and like connect.
Because I mean, Mark.
There is.
In the new one, yeah, that's true. That's true. In the expansion,
yeah. So at this point, like that's like a very general sense of everything that was in the free update portion. And at this point in the direct, they acted like it was over. Come to find out, I think the reason they did that is because they uploaded those as 2 separate videos, and it very much fits, like has a nice end to the presentation for the first part. And I was like, this has only been 12 minutes.
13 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, where's... I thought they said this was 20 minutes long, so we still have 10 minutes left. And then I was like, I guess it wasn't actually 20 minutes. But then they tease this, you go to Dodo Airlines and says, hey, I'd like to go to work. And boom, we're hit with this paid expansion. They said major free update like 4 times in the free update. They're like, the last free major update for Animal Crossing. Yep. And they're like, last free one, guys. And they like really emphasize that to the point where it's like, oh, okay, we're getting a paid expansion pass. And this is called the Happy Home Paradise expansion. And this expansion has I'm going to hit super high level for this one because they went really in depth on this, but the premise is you design vacation homes on Micah, you're going to have to help me with pronouncing this. Archipelago?
Archipelago?
Archipelago.
Yeah.
Guys, I really struggled to spell that in the notes. Yeah.
It's like I knew how to spell it at some point in time, and then I looked at the show notes, and his spelling of it just like destroyed all knowledge in my mind. I didn't even know how to say it anymore. I was so confused.
Archipelago. So you design different houses on these little islands as part of this resort, and it's essentially the Happy Home Designer game as a piece of New Horizons. So you get expanded home design techniques that you can learn and take with you to use in your own home on your island, which is very cool, including partitions, counters, different lighting for your rooms. There is also designing a little city, including a school, a restaurant, and a hospital. And I didn't even mention they added soundscapes that you can put in for the rooms to give like atmosphere to the room. And
so can you make it so the hospital is just full of people screaming?
I don't know if they include that. I was really confused by that one.
I hope they let you add custom soundscapes. So you can just make your own screaming sounds.
No, I really don't think Nintendo would risk that.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Because you can share these online. But the hospital I thought was kind of a weird addition because it said you design these buildings and then you can go in and see them in use. I'm like, what are we gonna have like animals coming in like, oh, I broke my arm?
You walk in, they're doing like CPR on someone.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now, the hospital to me, or at least the way they had it set up, looked an awful lot like the doctor's office in the first
oh my gosh
club game.
Patrick, yeah. I think our brains are broken because that's exactly what I thought of too. Was from the missing air. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I did not play the missing air, but that's that.
Wow, and you call yourself a Nintendo fan?
Yeah.
Some people
called out.
Right?
Called out. Yeah, I thought that was super cool. I'm probably most looking forward to that, honestly. I want to make a restaurant. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm making my own themed restaurant that they're gonna actually use.
What makes me wonder, like, how do they decide like who works at the restaurant? Because in the video that they were showing all of this, Sherb was like a busboy, and Sherb is a little blue goat. He is one of my neighbors, and he is my favorite character in all of Animal Crossing. So if me having Sherb means that I'm going to see him on my Happy Home Paradise, working as a busboy, filling up waters, like I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't like really think of the implications. Animals have careers now in
Yeah.
in the game. Like Herb is a busser, a table waiter.
Yeah, do they have careers, or is it like because the Happy Home Paradise is you're like fulfilling people's desires, right? So is it like a Westworld situation, like he's
Great
coming out
question.
because he wants to cosplay as a busboy, and so
Yeah,
you set up
his
these restaurants
dream
so he can do it?
vacation
Yeah,
to come out and be a busboy.
yeah,
I thought it was really cool that you get to design a vacation home for Isabel, Timmy, and Tommy, and their house was all filled with gold. I was like,
Gold
yeah, well,
bars.
Maybe Mr. Rossetti.
yeah, yeah. What would his house be filled with? It'd be very orderly. I imagine
yeah.
him to
It'd
be like Monk, like like a very clean, tidy. Like everything has to be perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's filled with people who are saving their games.
Yeah. It's just a wall of like game cubes with the saving state on screen. Yes, yes. Oh man, I'm so excited about this whole DLC update, and its cost is $24.99 US dollars. Um,
Or
or we can move to the next news item here and talk about they decided in this to drop the pricing for the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, which the reason that's here is because it's included for free if you have the expansion pack. The price for the expansion pack was displayed as $49.99 USD for individual plans and $79.99 for family plans. What are you guys' thoughts on this? On pricing, because this is a big topic right now in the Nintendo space.
It is more than I thought it was going to be. I thought but I didn't realize obviously that it was going to include this paid expansion. I so it makes me think that just like we saw with like Tetris 99 and Pac-Man 99, that if there's other expansion passes in the future, not that they're guaranteed to be included in the $50, like plus expansion pass for Nintendo Switch Online, but possibly some of them could be. Or I guess more my point is in the future, there could be other benefits that we don't know of today that will help justify the price, for lack of a better term. And so I'm okay with it. I think it would be nice to have a version that doesn't include the Animal Crossing expansion pass for cheaper. Just because if you don't own Animal Crossing, that's not much of a benefit to
Yeah.
you. But
Exactly.
yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
To be
Yeah, I
fair,
mean,
to be fair to Nintendo, well, to Nintendo, they care, but
be
one
fair. Be
third,
fair.
1/3 of Switch owners own Animal Crossing, the biggest amount of software to hardware besides Mario Kart.
Yeah,
So
attach rate.
it is a attach rate. Thank you. I'm looking for the word. I'm reaching for the term.
I got you. I got you.
That is a big chunk, but it is not the majority. It is not everybody for certain, for sure. And I think there are people that are disappointed and maybe we'll tie the pricing to blame Animal Crossing as making the price higher. But I almost wonder, I don't know behind the scenes. I'm not Nintendo, but I almost wonder if that was the price and the Animal Crossing is kind of thrown in as a bonus anyways to try and make that price a little easier to swallow. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do wish that there was like a more sort of a la carte option, because like, it's cool to get so many different libraries, but like, I'm really into the NES and the Super NES libraries, but I know there are people who aren't. And like, am I really gonna mess around with much of the Genesis library? Like, I'll play Sonic 2 again, I guess. But like, there aren't a lot of games in there that I am really gonna play. But like, I don't know. Ultimately, if you're paying $50 a year, that's like $4.17 a month, or access to 4 different classic libraries, Tetris
Right.
99, Pac-Man 99, and this expansion pass for Animal Crossing. To say nothing of, it also lets you do just online play and whatever other stuff they kick onto that service. So like, I don't know, it still seems like a pretty good deal. I remember paying like $10 for a Nintendo 64 game on my Wii, back when the Virtual Console was a thing. And like, would I have done it again? Yes. I mean, am I going to buy Ocarina of Time and Mario 60? Probably not Mario 64, because I've got the 3D All Stars collection. But like all the rest of those games, like for sure I was going to buy them when they came out anyway. So like, for me, this is good. I can understand where it's not going to be for people who aren't going to take advantage of as much of the libraries as I am.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I also am in the same boat where I'm like, to me, it seems like a pretty good deal. I know it seems expensive looking at the huge numbers of $49.99 and $79.99 by comparison to what they were, especially being
Yeah.
20 and 35. Like, that's a big jump. But you look at it.
It is, but the $20 a year, man, is no money. $20 a year is like a less than $1.50 a month. Like,
Yeah.
it's about $1.50 a month. It's a little more. But like, it's just not that much money.
Right. I was also
I
looking at factoring the price of so for me and Micah are on family plans, and the family plans, it's like a really great deal if you have multiple Switches in your family group and multiple people that were planning to get the Animal Crossing update. Because if you
Totally.
got the update separately with 3 people on your family plan, that's $75 right there. So getting that for 4 people, it's paid for itself based off of that. I there's some like semantics in there. You don't have the DLC. Like, if you bought the DLC, you have it on a subscription base, which there's some details there that Nintendo's clarified. Like, if you cancel that, you won't be able to go to the island with the where you work anymore. But still, it's cheaper for the family plan. It's actually comes down to be like, if your plan is full, $10 per person per year, which is less than $1 a month per
It's
person.
no money. It is no money.
It's pretty cheap when you break it down like that. And I know not everybody is in that sort of situation, but for those that are, it's a fantastic deal. Could you imagine having, like, you've got like 4 kids and they all are playing Animal Crossing together and have their own Switches and all that, and then you have to buy 4 copies of this DLC? Like, it would get very expensive very quick without having them like kind of thrown in as a bonus. And for me, even if that DLC wasn't included, I probably would have paid this price for just the N64. I'm that excited about N64 personally. Online, like, it's a big deal. We're getting Mario Kart, F-Zero, Star Fox, all these like really great multiplayer games that we'll be able to play online.
Paper Mario.
Yes,
I know, not multiplayer, but
yes, and some fantastic single player games, like definitely meatier than games that were on the NES and SNES as far as like time and like play time investment goes. So it is a more substantial system and service. I totally get why people are upset. I totally get it, but I also am going to buy it regardless. I'm just such a sucker for Nintendo stuff. It's like, oh, well, they got me. So
Were you able to snag a controller?
I did not. That was and then they're gone. If you didn't get one, then you're not getting one for a little bit. I'm sure they'll come back up for sale.
Yeah, I think the website says that they will have more later this month, but you just won't get one at launch on the 25th.
I think it would be cool, but $50 for an N64 controller, I think there are cheaper ways to get arthritis.
Well, talking about being a Nintendo sucker, I bought 2 of them and heavily considered buying 4. So
wow.
Well,
Nice.
and it was one of those things where it was like I quickly talked myself down from 4, but like 4 was the max. And whenever these things go up for sale, like I always, I'm totally writing yes.
I'm totally have writing. Mine, so yeah. If I miss it, I can just pull it out and kind of like finger the buttons for a second. Yeah.
Well, if you get you tape some sticks or something just right, so when you press some buttons, it affects the other controller. You can kind of make your own little.
It is a cool controller. Yeah. So you purchased 2, and you almost got the full 4-pack of them. Don't you wish that they had colors? Like, I was like, the gray.
Yeah, I'm with Mark on this. Give me the gray.
You just want the gray? Oh, that's one of my favorite parts. Wow. That's one of my favorite parts of the N64 controllers is that every single one we have, I think we have like 5 for some reason. They're all a different color, like a wildly different color.
Because everyone has their own controller.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, it would have been 2. Like, I don't think my brain could have handled having to choose which colors I would have pick.
Okay.
Like, it's like going to Cheesecake Factory. Like, I needed the simplicity of just having gray. Like, it's all my feeble brain could handle.
For me, I was such a day one adopter of Nintendo 64 that back when there was only the gray controller, that to me that is Nintendo. There's no other iconic controller for me, and I know there are all the other colors, but just give me that classic gray. And I did manage to order one. So nice. Mark, between the 2 of us, we've got 3.
Nice. Man.
Clear Nintendo devices are the best Nintendo devices.
Yeah, oh man, that is sweet.
I do miss that they clear. I think Jungle Green was my favorite N64 variation. That's so cool.
If they released, I have not bought a Nintendo Switch Lite, but if they released a clear Nintendo Switch Lite, I would buy that in a second.
Yes. 100%. Even though I already have a Switch Lite and an OLED and a too many Switches. Oh, well, that's awesome that you guys both got one. I'm excited to hear about your experiences with it because, yeah, there's something to be said about having the original controllers and being able to experience the games the way they were intended on their very
especially for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
100%. Also, it has Rumble. They confirmed it has Rumble.
Oh,
which is
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, which was something that I wasn't sure about because they've been so cagey about the back. But I don't think it has a Rumble pack. I think it's probably just built.
Yeah, it's like a massive thing you put on the back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss those 2 extra inches of plastic. For real, I'm gonna miss them.
I joked earlier about the arthritis for these games. It's just such a funny looking controller. It's always gotten flack for that. The 3-prong design that looks like
that no one used all of. I don't know. At least I never saw anyone use the 2 outside ones. It's always the middle and the right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember using the outside ones for Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Because the D-pad is more precise than the thumbstick for movement.
Yeah, hopefully the thumbsticks last a little bit better than the N64. There's all this talk on controller drift, and gosh, who there? I was listening to some podcast on it, and they were like, I cannot recall a Nintendo controller having any sort of experience like we've had with Nintendo Drift as a phenomena. And I was like, oh man, you guys forgot the N64 joystick.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like
But
so
yeah, they didn't
loose,
necessarily just drift. The whole thing just kind of like flopped around.
just kind of
Yeah,
gets
but
sad, like falls down. Yeah,
as long as they never put any of the Mario Party games on Nintendo Switch Online, I don't think it'll be a problem, right? Because like
yeah, the like
Yeah.
make your hand bleed.
make it circle, yeah. That's the thing that ruined those thumbsticks.
Oh man, such good memories. I'm so excited for the N64 and to play it online. I'm just so pumped for that. Well, let's move to the next segment of the show because I want to get to our ranking list so we have as much time to discuss these awesome duos that we all clearly knew like so much about before starting. So let's move to the last segment of our show, and that is the community corner. So first off, we do have a few questions from the community. One very pertinent to the discussion we just had. From Mugglemoo says, what was your favorite part of the Animal Crossing announcements today? Is there anything they didn't mention that you were hoping for? So round robin, Micah, you want to start? I know you have an answer for both those, I think.
I think my favorite part was actually just the Captain's boat tours. I mean, maybe not necessarily even the new island, just his singing on the way to the island. Incredible. But actually, the islands do seem really cool, and they mentioned that they might be like different seasons and different times of day. So I think that's really exciting. So you can
Does this
kind of,
make...
if you like kind of miss those seasons, you can make some of those, get some of the resources you need to actually make some of those things.
Oh, true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Does this make the like Dodo airline tours like obsolete at this point? Like, why would you go to those?
Yeah, I don't know. There must be just different things you can get from them. On the boat tours, it looked like they showed the like vines and some sort of like fungal things. I'm guessing those probably won't be on the regular plane tour.
Right.
So there might be certain things you can get from certain tours.
Right. And then what
I was most hoping for was bulk crafting. So I don't have to spend 3.5 hours making all that fish bait.
Yep. Fish bait is the worst part of the crafting and
You just start watching a show and mashing the button.
Oh, it's painful. Patrick, you want to give your answer? I'm not sure if we show up in the same order on everybody's screens here, but you'd be like next going round the clock. So
yeah, I also for me, I appear in the lower right hand corner. Is that where everyone else perceives me?
That is where that's where you're perceived.
And Mark is right here on my left.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, I would I think I probably already said it. I'm excited about inviting animals over to my house. I'm excited about nailing Red down so he has to sell me art every day.
Yes. 100%. You were talking about the experience. I didn't talk too much to it, but I have had the exact same. I think everybody just hates Red. They just hate him because he never comes to your island, and he was part of like the random mix of everybody else. And the other thing is, it's like you're not trying to collect to fill your museum, but he is the only way to get the artwork. The only way.
Yeah, and like I don't need the sloth to sell me seeds. I don't need more rugs. I don't, most of them I don't ever want to see on my island, but like Red, just give them to me.
Yeah.
And then I guess in terms of like what I wish that we would have seen, but didn't, I think we kind of got close with the Happy Home Paradise thing. But I really wanted there to be a way to have like a second island, just that you had like 2 different places that you could go to and, have like a whole new set of neighbors. But it does seem like you're going to have a lot of opportunities to interact with different Animal Crossing characters in the Paradise DLC, so it might be okay.
You want to live 2 lives, huh? So double life in Animal Crossing.
Sadly,
You
that's
just
why I
get a
started playing
second
Animal
Switch.
Crossing in the first place.
Yeah, the Second Life. That's great. Mark, what was your favorite part, and what did you miss?
I think the thing that brought me the most joy was the group stretching, because it was
Yes,
something new
yes.
that was like so unexpected that I was not at all like it was not on my wish list of things for Animal Crossing, but now that it exists, it just makes me so happy. And so the group street stretching is the thing that I was most like fun for me to see. And what I would the part that was missing, and I'm hopeful because they said this was the last like major free update, but I'm kind of hopeful that we see new holidays and that like new events added to the game. So more like seasonal stuff. And it makes sense in the context of this presentation that they didn't mention it. But my hope is that still in the future there will be more coming.
Yeah, I can see it. Yes, that would be really nice. There's a lot you can do a lot of holidays, and they do a lot of like random and weird, obscure celebration type things that, yeah, just milk that even more. Do more of those so
Or
that
even just to see different versions of like Egg Day or Bunny Day, whatever it's called, and like Christmas, like just do different ways to celebrate those holidays. I think would be fun.
yeah, any way to get rid of Zipper T Bunny is good in my
Oh,
opinion.
Don't you dare
this is my
badmouth Zipper.
favorite character. Yeah,
Yes, thank you, Micah.
Oh, he's horrifying.
the
He's so scary.
disrespect.
Yeah, not a real fan. Not a real fan of Zipper T Bunny. Not a real Animal Crossing fan. For me, my favorite part, I think, besides street stretching, because Mark already took that, I actually am unironically very excited for that. I love exercise games. For like, I've been really enjoying. I'm not gonna lie and say I play Ring Fit every day anymore, but I for a while was playing Ring Fit every day. I love Wii Fit. Love these little fitness things, and this is like a little just built in. Hey, you guys are playing 1,000 hours of this game. Maybe we should do something good with it. kind of
I was
thing.
getting a little concerned for our health.
But I'm very excited for building up a little, designing a restaurant and the little city area. Not the houses so much. I'm actually not super into decorating the houses. But the idea of making like these public spaces, like a restaurant and a hospital, that sounds super fun to me. I'm very excited for that. And the thing I was missing, I was actually really hoping for some more to do with online multiplayer, like mini game island type thing that you could go and do with friends. Because for me, the online is super fun to like go and hang out, but you just kind of hang out. Like there's not really anything to do necessarily. They've got like bug and fishing contests that you can do, but not a lot of game to play.
Yeah, I mean, it also just would have been nice if they were like, "Hey, we understand it's obnoxious to have this load screen every time someone comes to your island, or every time someone leaves your island, or every time you go to someone's island." If they'd been like, "Hey, we ironed that out. We realize it's not necessary," that would have been huge.
Real nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Like when they showed like in Bruce at the coffee shop, you can invite your friends over and have a cup of coffee. It's like, oh, that's fun. And I will do that once, we'll take
Right.
pictures of it and then never again, because there's not enough to those interactions.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, because it was such a big online phenomena for our friend group. We were like going to each other's islands and doing like the turnip trading. That was a big thing. Gardening, helping each other water flowers and things. But it needs more substance to make that. I think that should be an integral part of the gameplay, but it feels more like an addition to a solo game than a feature of Animal Crossing itself.
Who knows? Maybe the next DLC will be Animal Crossing Battle Royale. You just get dropped on an island, and have to duke it out.
Yeah, with your little axes and bug nets, slapping each other with bug nets. This Speaking of battle royales and fighting, this next question from Monkey Thunder: What has been your favorite Smash reveal trailer? Not just favorite character, but favorite trailer for Smash Bros. Ultimate. Well, we could just expand it to everything because they have done reveals for a long while now, basically since Melee. They had a couple in Melee. I'll start. I think I have my answer. I really liked the reveal trailer for Palutena as a playable character. And mostly because it had anime style Link and Pit fighting each other, animated like an anime, and it was so unique in its style. It wasn't 3D renders from the game that look very CG. It was like a hand drawn, very very cool, and it makes me so badly want that to be a real thing. Like let's make a Smash Bros anime. Yes, I would be all for that. I don't even like anime or like watch anime. I don't dislike it. I don't really watch anime as
Don't back away
hobby.
from it.
Yeah. I don't, but I would for that. Like that's just so cool. It was very cool. I'm not really that excited about Palutena as a character reveal, but Pit and Link fighting was just so cool. It was like I geeked out a lot for that reveal trailer. And then favorite character reveal and also a really good, like a second place reveal trailer is probably Sora for me. I was very excited for Sora because man, I thought it was impossible. I seriously was like, it's not possible. I had written off Sora so long ago that is just hit me like a brick wall. Like, wow. Anybody else got an answer for this question? Favorite reveal trailer?
I mean, Nate, this is a cheat, of course, but the E3 blowout for Smash Ultimate, the everyone is here moment.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
so great.
yeah, and then being like, yeah, the Pichu is here, and like all the Snake is here, and all that stuff. That's like the closest I've come to screaming while watching one of these things. So if that's a cheat, my backup is going to be the Mega Man reveal for
Yes,
Smash 4.
that's a great one. Yeah.
It's a classic one. I love Mega Man. I love seeing him in other contexts. I love how they would like zoom into his head as he's like accessing the abilities from the other robot masters, and like seeing a little flash of like Gutsman or Fireman or whoever, and then him using the abilities. It was just super cool, and you know, I'm a sucker for making Mega Man look cool.
They did make him look really cool, for sure. You got anybody else?
I guess I got one. I kind of have a tie for Ridley, just because I'm kind of a sucker for anything Metroid.
No shame.
I thought his rule was real cool, and then he like spins Mario's hat.
Yeah, that was he kills Mario and then
everyone.
he's like, yeah, got his hat. Yeah.
That and the Simon reveal, like kind of started out with like Luigi's Mansion vibes.
Yeah. That was a really cool. I forgot about that one already.
And then
that was a
Luigi
cool
dies.
Oh yeah.
Those are probably my two favorite, but I do have to give a little shout out to Kazuya. I don't know if I'm saying that quite right, but just the end after he drops Kirby off the cliff, he just floats back up.
Yes. Yes. Mark, do you have a favorite? There's so many. I'm like forgetting. Like I forgot about Kazuya and all these others.
Yeah, 100%. Character, like I think for me, the Smash trailer that left like a huge impression on me was I think it was the reveal one for Ultimate with the Squidlings, and then they like turn around and there's like the enormous Smash logo that's like on fire. There's something that's so unique about Smash where it's like it is this weird mashup of like tones as well, because like the end of that trailer, like it feels like apocalyptic, right? And that's not like the sense of the game at all, but just like it's for whatever reason that left a really strong impression on me. Made me very excited for the game.
It was also like such an exciting thing to speculate about because like you saw like the silhouettes of all the existing characters and you kind
Yeah.
of like had that opportunity to go through and like look like one by one, be like, is there someone here who doesn't belong? And then you're like, oh
Is
my
that
God,
Shrek
Link,
in the background?
it's obviously Shrek and Donkey. We got them both. But
Yeah.
like Link, that Link was wearing like he was obviously wearing
Breath of the
his clothes
Wild.
from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, they were
It
like, oh my,
automatically confirmed this was not a port, which a lot of people were
Yeah.
concerned about.
Also, this is not a trailer, but how could we forget the Grinch leak?
Oh my
That was just
gosh.
some good old fashioned Smash Brothers craziness that never amounted to anything. Probably lost some poor people their jobs, but that was wild. That was a wild time to be alive.
I remember having people just like everyone basically took that one as fact. Like the masses were like, this has to be real based off of what it was. And it was so convincingly real and obscure and weird that it's like, why? Yeah. Oh man, what a time! What a
Why
time!
would somebody lie on the internet? Why would somebody lie on the internet?
They
Yeah,
weren't
here's
even
the
like
question.
Who would do
trying
such a thing?
to. They weren't the original creator of that wasn't even like trying to like make a leak. It was like they were doing that for fun, for some other reasons, to be just like goofy with their job, because they worked somewhere like a GameSpot and sent the picture to a friend, and the friend it somehow got leaked online. It'd be like if I like sent like, hey Mike, I made this thing in Photoshop. I sent it and it somehow got snagged and put out and like pasted as official artwork somewhere, and people are like freaking out. Like, oh no, it's just so bizarre that it's the weirdest leak that I can recall at all.
Does anyone remember the characters that were featured in the Grinch leak?
It had chorus kids. I remember that.
Yep, chorus kids from Rhythm
Oh,
Heaven.
that's right.
Was Incineroar in that leak?
No, Incineroar is not in that leak.
And then a character from Xenoblade that I'm sorry, my Xenoblade knowledge is super bad, but
Close, close. It's actually Isaac from Golden Sun.
Yeah.
The full rundown is as follows: Banjo and Kazooie from Banjo Kazooie, chorus kids from Rhythm Heaven, Gino from Super Mario RPG, Isaac from Golden Sun, Ken from Street Fighter, which okay, Mock Rider from Mock Rider,
oh
and
yes, Mock
Shadow the
Rider.
Hedgehog. Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, I forgot. Oh, none of those are like not
There's a lot of
too.
boring picks in there.
Yeah, they're not too weird of picks
I hope
either.
you're not including Isaac from Golden Sun as one of those boring picks.
No.
Michael loves
I
Golden
might
Sun.
have to throw hands if you're gonna try to say something like that.
I have long tolerated Golden Sun.
How dare you? Golden Sun would have Isaac from Golden Sun would have such a cool move set.
You
He's,
would,
Or at least he
he's,
could.
he's a trophy still, right?
Like the coolest trophy.
Yeah, but I mean, besides Waluigi, yeah. But
Huh.
listen, it's over. It's done. No one's getting in. We don't have to fight about this anymore. The Smash community, you're done. Like we no more. Sakurai's like, I'm finished. Don't ask me for anything ever again. You know. So thank you so much for the question, Monkey Thunder, and Muggle Moon for the question before that. So our last question here ties right into our main topic, which we're going to be talking about here, is which Nintendo duo would be most likely to help Micah while he's being beaten up by Plock in an alley? Micah, I forgot to talk about how I played Plock this week in my What You Playing section. I just
It
realized.
must not have been that good or memorable.
Oh
or
my gosh,
something, so you just forgot.
So you guys know what Plock is. We did an episode on it a couple, maybe episode 56, Plock Talk. It's an SNES platformer that is kind of obscure, but it's one of my favorites from my childhood. But I never beat it because there's no saves. You just have to beat it all in one go, and it's brutally
like Jurassic Park.
It is brutally hard, especially in the late game. And if you die, you like go back to like halfway point, and it's it's heartbreaking, and I've had it happen to me twice now as an adult. But I'm like, I have to beat this game. It's just ingrained in my. So Plock is a big member of our podcast community because I talk about it all the time. He's like our I don't know what we say. He's like our Star Tropics for Patrick. You know, like gotta call back to Star Tropics, right?
Or Donkey Kong 3.
Donkey Kong 3. Yeah. Well,
I'm looking up a picture of Plock, and I understand why you wouldn't want to meet them in a dark alley.
Yes. It would be kind of terrifying in a dark alley. So
Is that a hood, or is that part of his head?
The executioner's hood.
It's his head,
supposedly.
but
Yeah,
it's designed
yikes.
kind of to look like an executioner's hood. That was their goal. They wanted an executioner's hood, but on a friendly character.
Unless he's angry, then he
And that's
doesn't
why
look
he's
friendly
like
at
brightly red and yellow colored. He's like very cartoony. It's very weird. The lore is deep and odd. Yes. Plock. It is Plocktober, so I have been playing Plock on stream as part of Plocktober. It's kind of like Game and Watch Month, but Plock focused instead of Game and Watch focused. You guys have to check this game out if you haven't. Just go listen to the soundtrack. That's all I will say. Like, you'll be sold just based off that. Tim Fallon, fantastic composer.
I'm watching gameplay footage of it right now.
There you go. So the question is, what duo would help Micah out? So let's revisit this question after we rank Nintendo duos, and I have for us here a ranking visual list, and we have compiled a list of Nintendo duos, semi-arbitrarily formed because there was a lot of submissions that were really trying to get favorites in, like Link and Navi, Link and Zelda, but I went with duos that I felt like they are they appear as a duo and they are iconic as a duo. It's not like a one-off, one game kind of situation like with Link and the various helper characters.
Link and Zelda, though, it's kind of like every game.
Yeah, but they're not really like. Like I said, it's arbitrary based off of my random. No, I don't think that counts. I don't really think of Link and Zelda as a duo. Do you guys? I don't know. Maybe
I don't think so. Because you haven't played Wind Waker? Is that what you just said, Micah?
Zelda actually helps in the final battle.
True.
Okay, I've got the ranking list up here and a big stack of characters here that we are going to rank. So we'll start with just the base here on the duos. Like this is the as basic of a duo as you get. This is the standard, I think. And Mario and Luigi. And I don't know if we like. You guys do rankings show like all the time. This is one of the reasons I had the Nintendo Cartridge Society come on, because they are the champions of ranking Nintendo lists. And I don't know if we want to do just like tiers, or if we want to go within the tiers. I wouldn't mind doing either.
I mean, I think for my money, if we rank these things, we're gonna be here for another hour at least.
Yeah. So let's do just tiers. Let's do tiers.
Yeah, I say tiers.
Okay. So where do you guys think we should put Mario and Luigi?
So I think one thing we should have. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was about to say. I tentatively want to put them in the B tier, and I will justify that by saying that I think they are iconic as separate characters, but as a duo, as a pair, I do not think that they are necessarily as strong as other pairs on this list.
They're arguably less strong together than they are separately, right? Like, you can give me any Mario and Luigi game, and it's going to be worse than any Mario game or any Luigi game. Like, they're just better when they're not together.
Yeah. I can see that. I think I'm in the same boat. I would put them at about the B tier, just
There's
because.
some pretty good Mario and Luigi games on the DS.
There are some okay ones on the DS.
Yeah, Patrick feels about that series.
I like that story.
They feel like they're brothers. They're obligated to be a pair. I don't know if they necessarily mesh well as a pair. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not like. There's definitely better pairs in this list.
Yeah, it's hard because they're iconic. For sure, they are 100% like icon status, but I do not think of them as like a dynamic duo, right? They are not Batman and Robin. They do not like necessarily like complement each other's skills or anything like that in the way that I think you could say some of these others do. And so as a duo, they are not like my favorite duo on this list.
Just to play devil's advocate a little bit, though, I mean, Luigi was pretty helpful in Paper Mario Origami King. He'd just go off and get these random keys that you needed that Mario couldn't get by himself.
Right, but then
Exactly.
But they're both separate while doing these things.
Yeah, yeah. I think it just proves the point a little bit more. I'm okay with B. You guys, everybody in agreement? B tier for Mario and Luigi. We could readjust if we feel they deserve to bump up or down.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Nods all around. All right, so next here, these are separate PNGs because I couldn't find one of them as a group. So we'll see if this works. But we have Doc Lewis and Little Mac. Boop.
Interesting to consider them as a duo when, I think they're very obviously like mentor and apprentice, right? Like Doc Lewis is teaching Little Mac how to box. But man, like the NES like load screen, it's not a load screen, but whatever, like that little cutscene between fights of Doc
Riding the bike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's got such strong, like, we're in this together kind of energy to it. I want to go A tier on this one, not S. Like, I don't think they're an all-timer, but I think they're a very good duo.
Okay. I need to make a correction. I was not watching the like stream screen, and so I did not see that there was an S tier. In which case, I believe that Mario and Luigi should be A tier, not B tier. I think B tier is too. I think B tier is too low for them.
Oh, really?
I think that Mario and Luigi should be A tier, and I think personally, I don't think that you could put Little Mac and Doc above Mario and Luigi
on
a list
of
Nintendo duos.
Yeah, I was actually.
I think they might be the best Nintendo duo on this list, in my opinion.
Wow!
Whoa.
Wow! We are like, very spread here because I was gonna say
also sneaking Little Mac some like chocolate or something to regain his strength in those fights.
Yeah,
I was gonna put these guys
separately.
As I was gonna say C, just because to the points that Patrick made, where I'm like, I don't necessarily consider these guys as much of a duo.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a great point, Micah. That they could not in like these games. They need each other in a way that Mario and Luigi do not need each other.
Okay,
I feel like Doc is like the perfect support. They're not necessarily. Maybe not necessarily they're like equal partners in this duo, but Doc is a great support to Little Mac.
So I'm definitely willing to go
a single Punch Out game in my entire life.
I'm definitely willing to go up. It does not like I have like very little reasoning for it being at C tier. I just don't feel like they're as duo-y as some, but you guys made some valid points. So A tier?
I mean, it sounds like what Mark would. I just want to. I think the temperature here is that Mark would like to raise Mario and Luigi from B to A tier, and then, I mean, I would like to put Little Mac and Doc at also A tier, but I would understand if they should not be quite that high.
Or you'd probably understand if they should be S tier, but.
I would also understand
since Micah is bumping up, I think
for both.
Okay, yeah, I think that's where we'll land here.
Both A tier.
Both A tier, and you make him small, but Little Mac has to be smaller, right?
Yeah,
I like that they're A tier for like different reasons, right? Like Mario and Luigi in some capacity are just there because they are iconic and not because of the strength of their duo-ness.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to put it.
Okay. Next we have DK and Diddy. That fantastic render, like an original render of those guys.
This is a tough one.
Also,
Go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say this is an S tier duo for me. I love these guys. Like, I'm a big fan. I think that they complement each other well. I think that they perfectly like fit the moment in which Diddy was born, like the '90s. They're an S tier duo for me.
I am in agreement. I think these guys are S tier as well.
Works for me.
I like it.
All right. Not a lot of debate on that one.
I mean, there's a second where I want to push back against it just because there is such a Donkey Kong like lineage before Diddy, right? Like, Diddy may need Donkey, but does Donkey need Diddy? Like, Donkey's been up to no good for decades by the time Diddy Kong comes around. But Diddy is also part of what like reinvents him and like makes him a character for both the 90s and like relevant through the modern era. Yeah.
Since then, they have not been apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an iconic duo in the way that like Indiana Jones and Shorty, like now that we're a partnership, they didn't keep him around.
Yeah.
We've never seen
never mind, not a good
maybe a Disney Plus series in the future, right?
There we go.
I would love that.
Next we have this isn't Pearl and Marina, this is Callie and Marie. Thank you. No, Marina's after. Callie and Marie.
No. That's where we're looking at Pearl and Marina right now.
We're looking at Pearl and Marina. I mixed them up. Gosh, not a real Nintendo fan, as we've established already in the show. I don't know my differences in Squid Sisters. They're not both Squid Sisters. This one's the Squid Sisters, and these ones are
co-workers.
Yeah, because one of them is an Octoling, so.
Right.
This is B tier for me. I love both of these characters, but they are like work friends. Like I don't know if they're hanging out that much outside of the studio.
Yeah. And I mean, I sort of like that they low-key hate each other. Like I almost think that makes their relationship better. But you're right. They're B tier for sure.
Yeah, I'm in agreement on that one. I think that their music is more iconic than their duo-ship. They're famous by association, but not in a healthy way like Mario and Luigi. Like, yeah. Okay, then the Squid Sisters.
I mean, based off just the names alone, Callie and Marie, Calimari, I feel like they gotta be higher.
Higher than Pearl and Marina?
Yeah.
See, for me, I think Pearl and Marina are more iconic as a duo than the Squid Sisters, but I might be just off base with my...
I might be a little biased because I've only played Splatoon 1 and not the second.
Well, they are brought back in the second one, and it's like the promo material for the third one so far has sort of hinted at Squid Sister return too. I do feel like they are a bigger part of Splatoon lore than Pearl and Marina, even though like Pearl and Marina like captured the sort of like audience attention.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really think they're A tier. I may also consider them B tier.
I'm gonna say they're B tier, and even though we're not ranking them, I'm putting them first, before. So we'll go with that.
Works for me.
I think we should pick once we have all these ranked out, we should pick the best in the S tier, like just the best.
Yeah,
one.
I like that.
Like the best.
I like that.
Next
how many
we
are gonna
have
be in the S tier?
Wario and Waluigi. I feel very strongly this is S tier. I'm a huge sucker for anything Waluigi, but him and Wario as a pair are just the perfect pairing in the fact that they're like iconically just the foil to Mario and Luigi, and that's what they are. Like their existence is to be a duo opposite Mario and Luigi in sports games. Like that's the purpose.
Yeah, but don't they like duo in like a single game and then Waluigi's never heard of ever again? So
That's basically true. Yeah. I mean, that's what Waluigi's whole deal is that Wario needed a doubles partner in tennis. Like
Yeah.
that's why he exists at all. And I mean, for me, I want to put these guys D tier.
Oh no.
yeah.
Oh, I would give him a little more credit than that, but I'm saying C, from in my heart they're like C tier, and it's kind of for the same reason that Mario and Luigi are A tier and not S tier, because it's like I think that while Waluigi individually is fascinating to me, like his kind of like secret lore that exists in Nintendo but that they refuse to tell us is I love that stuff so much. But Wario, I think he does have function outside of, especially now. Like I think he has so much more personality than Waluigi. He has his own game franchises. He has his own like life, and so I think that to me they're like interesting characters separately, but as a duo, not that strong. So they're C for me.
I will concede on that point because I agree with you. Like I think of them as S tiers as individual characters. Like when I really think about it, yes, it's the individual characters and design. Now Waluigi doesn't appear in any standalone anything, and most of the like story elements in the sports games are in a pairing with Wario, but
Well, I believe Mario Mix DDR has Waluigi standalone.
that's true. Mario, yeah, we were just talking about Mario Makes DDR. The thing about it is like Wario, because he's gone on and had a really nice solo career in game development, has really killed their chances of being a good duo. I can concede to that. Should have brought him along. Should have brought him along. Why is Waluigi not in WarioWare in any capacity? It makes no sense. We're going to bring all these other characters that are iconic duos from WarioWare, and they have no idea who Waluigi is because Wario lives a second life outside of his game development.
Actually, I think I lied. I think Wario is in Mario Mix DDR, but I don't think he like interacts with Waluigi.
Micah, where do you think this duo should go?
I was also thinking more along C, maybe D, because they don't ever seem to actually duo up in anything, at least anymore.
They were a duo in Mario Golf.
I think they're just both in Mario Golf.
They even coordinated their outfits pretty nicely. I mean, no, I'll say I am in control of the list, you know. So ultimately, no, I'm just kidding. I'll say C. I want my S tier to pull it up from that D.
Okay, all right.
Like I feel like C is fair. This one I would really debated on putting on the list because I'm like, I don't know if this really counts as a duo, but we'll talk through it here. Toad and Toadette.
Well, hold on, because it is not Toad and Toadette. It is Captain Toad and Toadette.
Yes, I have that. I have that in the notes.
Yeah,
but I could not actually find a PNG of Captain Toad and Toadette together. That had a transparent.
Well, so
but we can still talk to it like that because
I'm going
Captain
to treat
Toad
the character as Captain Toad.
Okay.
Captain, yeah, he is a Toad, but he is not Toad. Captain Toad and Toadette is an S tier duo. Their relationship in Treasure Tracker is the best. You play as first Captain Toad rescuing Toadette, then the like second half of the game you play the reverse, Toadette rescuing him, and then in like the last chunk of it you're going back and forth between the two of them. I think they're the best. He's so scared, she's so brave. I just want them to be together all the time forever.
Yeah, and to leave the Captain Toad series, I mean they do partner up a lot. Toadette partners with Toad like a single regular red toad, which maybe is Captain Toad. We don't know. Like lore, it could be. They do look very similar. For games like Mario Maker, for games like Mario Party, they run all of Mario Party for Super Mario Party. They're the like showrunners. I headcanon that is the Captain Toad Toad. It has to be, right? Like she's not gonna be planning Mario parties with just a regular Toad, you know. She's not seeing other guys. Is what I'm saying. She's just committed to Captain Toad. Oh. I have. So where you think S? You think S?
I think S.
That's where I would put them as well. I feel good about S.
Micah?
I'll defer to your guys' judgment because I have not played Captain Toad, so I haven't seen much of their dynamic.
I don't feel like they are S tier. I feel like they are A tier, but I am willing to say that they're S tier. They're not top. They're not top S tier.
Okay. I mean,
it's if we are broadening it to just Toadette and Toad, like amorphously, I do think that does change their relationship a little bit. It also forces me to think about Toadette outside of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which of course makes me think about when she's a union busting jerk in Super Mario Maker 2.
Yes. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just if we're going strict Captain and Toadette.
Let's go Captain Toad and Toadette, and for that I will say S tier for me. I can say that. Yeah, they're a good combo. And this was another one on the list. This next one on the list, another one that I was debating on whether they should be counted but they're a Smash Bros pairing, so I was like, So Rosalina and Luma.
For me, I go D tier on this. I like Rosalina as like an ally to the Lumas, generally speaking, but I don't think it's accurate to call them a duo. You know, she is paired up with an infinite number of Lumas,
and they're really only
kind of explode at times. And
Smash Bros. Start new galaxies.
Just get a new one.
They're only really a duo in Smash Bros. And yes, you're right. She just gets a new one when they explode.
Or that same one.
I do want to point out here, guys, that I do have a tier lower than D tier, and this is the Shadow Realm down here. If we want to just trash any characters, they go to the Shadow Realm. So just
uncomfortable with that. Don't.
Shadow Realm.
It's literally a JPEG of like the Yu-Gi-Oh Shadow Realm from like the cards, like pasted down there. So D tier. I actually wouldn't mind just like taking her off the list. Like Shadow Realm, she can be in space with the Lumas, because you guys make valid points that they're not really a duo, because the Luma are like a species more than an individual.
Although, I mean, I'm pretty sure in Yu-Gi-Oh they just like kind of censored people dying and changed it into the Shadow Realm. So essentially, you'd be saying you want to kill her in the Luma, which I'm
not comfortable with that.
So D tier.
It feels a little harsh.
Bottom of the D tier.
I mean, if you count the Luma as just one singular entity, they're kind of a duo.
Okay.
That's so weird, though.
Okay, next tier we've got Olimar and Louie. Guys, let me be honest with you. I can't stand Louie. I hate him so much. Like, he's the worst character. He is the worst. So I like. It knocks it down. Like he gets knocked down several tiers just because he's in the duo ship.
I have not played any of the Pikmin really. Like, are they a strong duo? What is their dynamic?
They are co-workers sent to collect things to sell. Micah, you'd know this better than me because you've played the first two. But Louis
actually just played the second.
Oh, okay. Louis kind of just messes everything up. He's like really hungry all the time, so he eats all their food and uses up all their supplies.
He would get fired real quick if Olimar wasn't there to like carry him through the day.
Yeah, it's 100% true. But in Pikmin 3, I mean, he's basically just an alt character. In the story, not. In the story, he's also the worst. Steals all your food. pretends to be Olimar. I'm spoiling the story for you guys if you're gonna play Pikmin 3.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. So for me,
yeah.
like they're an upper D tier. I love Olimar and I like Pikmin. I wanted some Pikmin representation here, but Louis, man, like as a duo, I don't think of them as super iconic either. I think Olimar is like the captain and the star of the show.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am too. Is that it's tough to think of Olimar as anything but, the lone man on a mission, or like the in Pikmin 3 that you like encounter him way late. Yeah, I think as a duo, I like that you shrunk them down. By the way,
I realize they're
small.
not to scale.
Life size.
They got to be tiny.
Yeah, there we go.
I say D tier.
Anybody disagree on that? No. Okay, well, let's move to some WarioWare. 18 volt and 9 volt. 9 volt and 18 volt? I have them in this
The
order here.
volts.
The volts. Well, there's also 5 volt, the mom. I didn't know she had a name.
Oh.
I thought it was just mom until this last game.
2/3 of the volts.
You guys just ranked fairly recently.
We did.
Last month or so, all the WarioWare characters, and the volts did rank fairly high on your list. So where do you guys put them as a duo?
They did.
9 volt especially ranked really high, higher even than I think we wanted to from his gameplay in WarioWare Get It Together.
Yeah.
Just because we like that character so much. I don't know. I think these characters are me and Mark, so S tier.
Well, I'm curious to know your thoughts on which one is which in this situation. Which is the like really huge buff like 5th grader? How old are these guys? They're like school age.
Right. Yeah, they're definitely in elementary school for sure.
And then the other one's like really into video games, like a lot. They're both into it, but
they're both really into it.
I'm okay with these guys being S tier. I think they're a pretty iconic duo.
I essentially have no idea who these guys are because I haven't played the newest WarioWare.
Not a real Nintendo fan.
It feels crazy to me that they would be above Mario and Luigi. Or even Doc and Little Mac. Like that feels like I don't. For me, I can tell you right now. Like I don't know if there's any WarioWare character that like. It's hard because I like these characters, but on the scale of that we have here, like, do I like them more than Wario and Luigi? No, I don't.
You are right. You are right. Yeah, bringing it back to perspective here. Yeah, they shouldn't go above Mario and Luigi. Lower A tier?
I think probably B tier then makes the most sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And look at that. Everybody on this tier is dancing. What are the odds of that? Okay, and then also in WarioWare, Kat and Anna. Katana.
I mean, just by the name, I'm kind of a sucker for that kind of thing. I like that.
If there's a pun in the name,
instantly makes them a pretty good duo. Because I mean, it was like if one of them was different, it was like Kat and George. That's terrible.
I feel like they are below 9 volt and 18 volt as a duo, and they really
that's
are.
Where,
really all I have
that's
to
where my
against.
heart puts them to. I would put them in C tier or D tier. I don't really care about them as characters.
Mark, what are your thoughts? Where should it land?
I'm gonna say D tier for me. I think.
Okay, because I don't care really that much either way. Micah really likes the pun that saves them from the shadow realm.
I mean, I would have said B.
Wow.
I would have put them just above.
I think
2/3 of the volts.
Micah, I think I'm gonna come in here and speak for you. I don't think you would care as much for these characters as what they are character wise. Their names are cool, and that's as far as they go as characters. Like they're all right. They're all right.
We work together and stuff.
Yes. So D. Are you okay with us putting it in D tier, or do you want?
I suppose.
Okay. Dribble and Spits.
I mean, I just gotta say I'm a little biased, I guess, because the WarioWare game that I played most featured Kat and Anna more. So,
Really? Don't they?
but
Aren't all these guys in
I'm a
all?
little nostalgic. I mean, if they are, I don't remember 9-volt and 5-volt. Oh, I think it was. I can't remember which was the Wario where I played quite a bit on the Wii. They had
Smooth
that
moves.
tower with like the pink. Was it Smooth Moves?
Yeah, they did have.
Yeah.
They did have all of these guys there.
I mean, they weren't that
But
iconic.
But I
9
mean,
volts?
And Anna were the only two I remember. Anna, I don't know.
there
That's
is
just my
something to be
experience.
said for that. Yeah, so there's something to be said for that. That they're so maybe we say low C tier, right? So maybe
Okay.
they're maybe we bump them up a little bit.
This is such a weird visualization on this chart. I love it. So dribble. Let's in order, and I want to kind of be conscious of your guys' time here tonight. Dribble and spits.
Dribble and Spits, I like them a lot. The song that played in their level in WarioWare Smooth Moves, this like really poppy. Micah, do you remember this thing?
No,
Man,
I have such a bad memory. Literally, Cat and Anna are the only two I remember besides Wario, and that there was like a ping pong tower game that
Yes,
I played.
Ping Pong
Yeah.
Tower was pretty great.
I mean they're fun. I don't know. I put them C tier as well. I think the best duo from WarioWare is 9-volt and 18-volt.
I am in agreement on that. I think they're a tier below 9-volt, 18-volt.
Yeah, sounds
Yes.
good to me.
Okay. Nana and Popo, aka the Ice Climbers.
I mean, I feel like there's only one correct answer here.
I'm
Which
curious. I'm curious to
Well,
hear.
yeah, well, I'm curious,
Yeah,
curious what you guys are about to say right here.
No. Micah, you go first this time.
Shadow Realm for sure. No, definitely an S tier. No doubt in my mind, the highest of the S tier.
I think these guys do rank high. Personally, I don't.
I mean,
they are not possible to be separated.
I mean, in Smash
In my
Bros,
mind.
one of them is literally willing to sacrifice their life to throw their sibling to safety.
And in addition to that, like, remember how upset people were when they did not show up in Smash 4?
That's true.
Yeah, I do remember.
I think the world loves the Ice Climbers. I think the world loves Popo and Nana. I'm okay with S tier. They are a iconic duo for sure.
It's a duo so iconic that you are more likely to know them by their duo name. You know them as Ice Climbers.
Yes.
You don't know them as Popo and Nana.
Yeah, I had to look it up to remember Popo's name.
There you go.
And I do like the Ice Climbers. Well, what are
Yes.
they doing at like the far right side of the S tier? Seems a little...
We'll put it here, right in the middle zone. I don't know what I honestly don't remember who is under this stack at this point in the process, and the notes are on this separate tab here. I don't want to switch over, so I'm going blind. Judd and Lil Judd. Fun fact: it is revealed that Lil Judd is actually a clone of Judd.
This feels like a cheat to me, not really a duo. It's two of the same thing. I love Judd and Little Judd. Shadow Realm these guys.
Yeah. You would kill them?
Yes.
Hey, they're freaks of nature.
Huh? I mean,
Wow.
I
we're
want to
gonna-
put someone in the Shadow Realm so bad that I don't even care
Yeah.
who it is. Like I'm just mad with power at this point. Listen, they are like constantly battling for each other's jobs, but they're the same person. What is the deal with that?
I mean, isn't your favorite episode of Gravity Falls, Andros, one that involves one of the main characters being cloned a bunch?
Yes, but I wouldn't say it's iconic for their duo ship. If that's what you're trying to imply, I do.
I
love
mean,
that
but
episode.
they also end up trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. That's just like when you clone yourself, it's an inevitability.
No one can
Right.
duo with themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just like we couldn't count Dr. Evil and Mini Me. Like we can't count Judd and Little Judd.
Right. Okay, so then we have Low and La.
Okay, look,
I think-
I know that these characters are going to go low. because I know that none of you have played The Adventures of Lolo on the NES.
How dare
or
you
the
suggest I
sequel.
hadn't played or even heard of that game before?
My God. They're great games. They're great, like puzzle overhead, like pushing blocks around games. But I recognize that the characters themselves are just spheres, and one of them has a bow. There's nothing to them. I think we should probably exercise them to this shadow realm.
Really?
I mean, to be fair, Kirby himself is just a sphere with some
No,
feet and arm
he's got
nubs.
flaps, and he can. and
So
he can
they are a
fly.
recurring character in the Kirby series as well. I don't know if you were aware of that, but they do show up in Kirby games as like recurring enemy. But they are the same character from the Adventures of Lolo. I think that's what they gave. I can't remember the title of the game.
That's the title of the game.
Yeah, it's all HAL Laboratory, and they're like, hey, well,
That
we
we've
have
all
these.
heard of before.
Yeah, we all know very well this game. So I don't think they need to go to the Shadow Realm. I almost find it endearing that we have characters so obscure on this list. Should they be up high? No, definitely not. But I don't know where.
Not Shadow Realm worthy.
Yeah, I agree. Not Shadow Realm worthy, but aptly named Low, Low, Low. They are indeed my least favorite duo that weve seen so far. I'd put them
Or it's actually
below.
pronounced Lol.
Yeah.
And they're just a
LOL,
grand old time.
LOL, ha ha ha. Oh, I'm good with
below the Luma for me.
Okay.
Below Rosalina and Luma would be my vote.
Micah.
I'd probably even say above Olimar and Louis, since Olimar and Louis is just like Olimar carrying Louis. Olimar would be so much stronger without Louis, essentially.
I can agree with that. I put them kind of far over here, but let's. I mean, we're not ranking these; we're just putting them in lists. But I'm still ranking them even visually. So Low and La La La, I feel like they're a better duo than Rosalina and Luma, because again, I almost wanted to put her in the Shadow Realm for cheating. So okay, I am blanking on the name here. Tattle and Tail from Majora's Mask. We got some Zelda representation in here. This is a duo. I more so than Link, Navi, and basically any characters I could come up with from the Zelda series. However, they're just in this one game, so that does take away some of the merit here, and they are essentially a clone of Navi. Asset wise, they're just a straight copy paste.
Yeah, different colors.
Yes.
Very different.
Very much all of Majora's Mask. It's the same characters, but different colors.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also there's not much to the characters of these fairies, right? Like design wise, they're really just like a blob of color and wings. So like changing the color changes the character entirely.
Yeah, it's the whole character.
It's like 95% of the character you just changed there.
I have no idea where to rank these guys. I have no idea.
Go ahead, Mark.
I was just gonna say, I like that they have like a little bit of a story arc, right? Like they grow and change through Majora's Mask, which I think is definitely a big difference from Navi. I struggle with where to put them on this list because I don't really have a lot of affection for them. So C tier, maybe. Like I know we're not ranking, but within the tiers, I would say for me, like just below Wario and Waluigi, and above the WarioWare characters.
There's even a little spot for that. That almost seems serendipitous. Like has to go there. Micah, you in agreement on this one?
Yeah, works for me.
All
I haven't
right.
actually played Majora's Mask yet, so.
Dodo Airlines staff Wilbur and Orville. Orville. I'm not going to try and pronounce that the right way. Orville.
Yeah, I think just.
I have them in T poses. This was the.
I'm not going to say just in case I embarrass myself.
So.
I mean, that just makes me want to rank them higher.
This is their pose. I actually really like these guys as a pairing. They have like their code that they talk to each other. Which one's which? Orville is the one that flies you around. Orville as a character by himself is just so great, and you know, we're making a water landing, but this is okay because it's a seaplane. Like, an icon in that game. And they're brand new to the series, but they feel like they should have been here this whole time, you know?
Yeah, they've got strong complementary personalities. Like a lot of the Animal Crossing characters, they are pretty well written. Yeah, I mean, do as the dodos do. I think this is an A. I think this is an A tier duo.
I am in agreement on that one.
Yeah.
Mark?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
You sound convinced.
I love the design of those guys.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, are their personalities as developed as some of the people in the B tier? Probably not, but I think like the aesthetic can win out.
Yeah.
See, I disagree with you. I think their personalities are pretty well developed and pretty well distinct from each other too. That like one of them obviously has like the sort of like jock pilot personality, and the other one is like the administrator. I think, and you can see it like just in their visual design too. I think they are really remarkably good characters.
What does he look like without his sunglasses? Is he
You'll never know.
exactly the
You
same?
will never know.
Yeah.
He has like 8 eyes, 4 on each side. So.
There's something about the like white shirt and tie with like the like PDA Palm Pilot satchel on the side that you know you just trust these guys to fly you somewhere, you know, like their shady airline business that takes you to random islands that they will never find again because they burn the maps. Like, yeah, it's there's lore there. We can put it in. So continuing the Animal Crossing train, I think the last people on the list are all Animal Crossing. We have Reese and Cyrus. These guys were they first introduced in New Leaf, or were they introduced first in the app?
No, they were in New Leaf. I don't know if that's actually where they are first. Well, because they
were
make
not in the
furniture
games.
New Leaf, right?
Yeah, they were not in the games prior to that. They were not on the Wii or Amiibo Festival. That I can recall.
I don't know. I think of them less as a duo and more of a relationship, right? That like, which I guess is a kind of duo.
Like,
I don't know.
The
I don't
ideal
want to put them high.
relationship, not also just kind of the ideal duo.
Kind of, but then if we were just doing like Nintendo relationships, that's a different list.
That's true. That's true.
So what you're saying is Shadow Realm, though.
I don't want to take pictures of your wedding. Go to the Shadow Realm.
I don't really have strong feelings on these characters at all. Like I think they're nice. I think they're like pleasant, but they don't feel me. They don't fill me with any sort of emotion. So like in that way, they're kind of like D tier characters to me. Like I don't think they need to die, but I just don't. I just don't feel anything.
I have absolutely no feelings for these characters as well. I'm in the same boat as you guys. The only thing that I think is interesting about these characters is that they are both alpaca, and they look so different. They look like they could be in slightly different games with their design. Maybe it's the eyes, and that she has like black lifeless eyes, and he has like like actual I don't remember like actual drawn eyes.
Yeah.
She looks like she came from a like old school Mickey Mouse cartoon, and he came from like that same cartoon series 20 years in the future. You know what I'm saying?
Look, if you're telling me that there's a possibility that she's a robot of some kind, now I'm kind of interested.
Now it's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Or is she like a porcelain doll come to life?
She does. Yeah.
Does magic exist in the Animal Crossing universe? See, now we're talking.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, but we're insinuating all of this from the character design. So the characters as is, as presented, I agree with you guys that it's a D tier matchup for me as well.
Yeah.
Micah, you agree?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's shrink them down and put them down. You've joined the low tier. This is not the D tier anymore. This is the low tier. And then we have Booker and other guy that I can't remember his name.
Copper.
Copper, thank you.
Definitely didn't have to look that up.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is when I did look up like dog duo Animal Crossing, Booker comes up as the search result, not Copper, which is funny because I spent a lot of I spent a lot of time interacting with these two in the DS version of this game because my siblings and I all had this game on the DS, Wild World, and they were the gatekeepers for the multiplayer. They were Dodo Airlines prior to Dodo Airlines, but they're like guards. It's a little less friendly feeling than Dodo Airlines because they're like, nobody gets in, nobody gets out in this Animal Crossing city.
I don't like it.
But as characters, Copper is the, like, very much, like, by the books, like, I'm here, I'm a soldier, I'm, like, he's rigid, and Booker is just, like, the lovable, dopey, like, hardly paying attention to what's going on. He's like, what? Like, and he speaks with kind of, like, a slow, like, doesn't quite understand what's happening around him kind of talk pattern, very much in design with his character as a like happy-go-lucky dog.
Both are terrible qualities in cops, so I think we gotta D-tier these guys.
But they were separately, they're terrible qualities in cops, but together, don't they kind of balance out to create the perfect super cop?
Good cop, bad cop.
I'm interested in public safety. We need to get these guys out of here. We need to retire them early.
The thing is, I do think that these guys do pair well as a duo. I agree on maybe a questionable careers, and what they do. It's now that you are talking about it like this, I'm like, oh, this is why they haven't come back. Like this is why they're not in here in some fashion in New Horizons. Maybe we can make vacation homes for them. We're just gonna have to test all this out. But as a duo, I do think that the pairing between the guy that's like hardly knows what's going on and the like rigid, strict by the books rule follower is kind of a cool idea. It would be a cool movie, you know, like Rush Hour. Rush Hour. Animal Crossing.
Think, Mark? Yeah.
What? I don't know. I'm torn because I do think that like the personalities are fun and their friendship and the way that they like reflect off of each other. I think that they are in the wrong profession, and you know, like they are not fun to encounter in Wild World because you know they are the gatekeepers of you being able to go in and out. I say for me, maybe probably D tier, but above above the two alpacas.
Oh, above the two alpacas.
Cyrus and something.
Micah,
Reese.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, kind of along the same lines. I didn't know who these people were until like today when I looked up who they were. New Horizons is the first Animal Crossing game I've played, so they mean nothing to me. But they're also dogs, so they should be above Cyrus.
Okay.
And Reese.
Okay. So this is our tier list. So let's take to wrap this up. The very end, the very top tier. Who among the three that we have at the top is the best Nintendo duo? The top dog, but not.
I think you guys know my vote. The Ice Climbers.
You vote Ice Climbers.
I can get behind Ice Climbers.
They're not necessarily the most iconic, but I think they are the best duo.
Yeah,
I think
this is a hard.
Diddy is up there too, but
yes, I was gonna say Donkey and Diddy. I feel like almost has to win because of because they are just far more popular. But as
popular
a duo,
doesn't necessarily mean good. Just throwing
Yeah,
that out there.
the ice climbers are inseparable.
True. And
They're a duo or
Donkey
they're
Kong
nothing.
and Diddy Kong are definitely separable. Like,
Yeah, there's Diddy Kong Racing.
well, there's
Don't
the
think
second
Donkey Kong was in
game.
that, if I
You have to
remember.
rescue Donkey Kong as Diddy Kong.
See, they're not being a duo right there.
Right.
To
All
be
right,
fair,
Ice
Ice
Climbers it
Climbers
is.
have been in like two
I
games.
think we've just
So-
like, okay, well, we've talked ourselves into Ice Climbers being the number one Nintendo duo, according to the
Hopefully
Nintendo Pals
everyone.
and certified by the Nintendo Cartridge Society. We have this like ranking relationship similar to like seal of authenticity. You know, we put the Cartridge Society's logo on there. Boom, slap that on there. Wow, guys, this was super fun. That was super fun. Thank you so
we
much.
did it.
Thank you so much for hanging with us here. This has been the episode. So I will wrap up here so we can give you guys back the rest of your Friday evenings. Thank you so much for coming on. Let's hold on. I fire up my outro music here. Do you guys want to take a second to plug your show, your stuff, yourselves? What do you guys do? Where can people find you? Go for
Take it away,
go.
Mark.
Yeah, we host the Nintendo Cartridge Society podcast. We release 2 episodes every week. On Tuesday, we release a news episode where we talk about the latest in Nintendo news. And then on Thursdays, it's a topic episode, really similar. We do a lot of rankings similar to this. We also talk about, this month, we're talking all about Game & Watch, kind of exploring Game & Watch for the first time. So yeah, you can check us out wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes. Hop on over to your podcast listening app of choice and leave these guys a 5-star review. I completely forgot, Micah, to shout out. We got 7 new 5-star reviews. I will read those out at the start of our next week's episode, but wanted to give a shout out and thanks. We saw them and I'll shout those out next episode. 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts help with discoverability of podcasts and shows in general. These guys have a very high ranking on Apple Podcasts, so help keep that ranking high and alive with 5-star reviews.
It's the only thing we care about.
It is literally keeping me alive.
That's right.
Well, and while you're out doing that, it is my birthday this weekend, so leave me a nice birthday present of a 5-star.
Happy birthday!
Oh, yeah,
Happy
thanks,
birthday!
guys. Thank you. Leave a nice present of a 5-star review on the Nintendo Pals podcast on your podcast listening app of choice, Apple Podcasts, or you can go to Podchaser, Podcast Addict. There are several out there, but those are the 2 big ones, Podchaser and Apple Podcasts.
Go back to Mason's question.
Oh, yes, Micah. Which duo would you like to help you fight Block? I think we have the answer, actually.
It's a trick question because I wouldn't need any help to find Block. And come on now, he's like a bundle of clothes, essentially, with energy.
Oh, yes. Well,
But he throws fireballs and his own limbs. I've been watching Plock for like an hour.
just had it up
he's
on
like
the side.
technically like a bundle of energy, like essentially possessing clothes, some wizard clothes or something weird.
I told you guys, the lore is deep. This game
But
is great, and you haven't been listening to the soundtrack. The soundtrack is like, oh my gosh, so good. You listen to it and you're like, this is coming from an SNES game? It's not coming through, but I can tell
yeah,
you're
we can't
enjoying
hear
it.
it.
I'm just pretending.
Oh, well, all right. I could hear it a little bit.
Well, yes. Anything else you guys want to plug before closing out here? Awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Check them out on Twitter. Links to their stuff is all in the description of the podcast, where you are listening, or if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description of the video there. Special thanks again to VGR for the music we use for the intro to our show, and huge thanks to you guys for coming on. Really appreciate. Every time we have you on, we go way over. I'm sorry to take so much of your evening. We just love talking. Let's close out here. Mark, you want to leave us with a closing remark?
Yeah, we're,
Mark.
the four of us, we're making a jingle.
Love it. We'll talk to y'all next week.